Here the manager of the Estonian team, a local manager, trying to explain to the four Russians what the course lies ahead. And as they leave Carrick-on-Suir, the Garda escort team leading the riders out to the stage to start proper. Some bit of hijinks in the bunch at the moment, but soon they'll get down to some serious business once the race starts. Here we have two different generations of cyclists now. And plenty of aggression at the front of this group. Included here Mario Rebo now at the front trying to attack. As they go towards the Prem in Mitchelstown, and it's Michael Fitzgerald of Clonmel just taking the Prem from Ermel. Race leader well up there, and his teammates also still well up around the front. And then just 5 miles from the finish, Ermel really showed his class when in the yellow jersey, and a very, very difficult thing to do for a rider who is so significant in his yellow jersey, but Ermel took off from the front of the group, put a 30-second gap between himself and the rest of the field, and went on to take the stage. So a rider of the future, really, a rider showing a lot of class and a lot of great determination and great skill in doing that. It's not often you see a yellow jersey able to leave a bunch of riders like that. In the sprint for second place, it was Andrew Sedgwick of Manchester, just ahead of Kervally and Shane Hurley of the Bray Wheelers 4. After each finish, there are random gear checks because these junior riders are restricted in the gears that they're allowed to race on. So every day, a couple of riders are picked out just to make sure that they're keeping to the proper regulations. So leaving Cork, we have 142 riders left in the race, and as we head out towards Mallow, out on the new bypass around the new Mallow roundabout, still plenty of aggression in the front of the bunch, plenty of riders trying to attack and trying to go clear. So after we go through Bullivant, a break of 8 or 10 riders develops, and it's to prove very significant, and a lot of defending going on back in the bunch, and riders pushing and shoving each other, trying to keep each other from working and trying to stop the chase going on from behind. But this break was to prove very significant, and probably was to be the significant break of the week. Included in there was Thomas Evans of the UCF, also there Alan Clark of the Mid-Eastern team, Eamon Byrne of Ireland, Killian Byrne of the Bray Wheelers. Here we're looking at Thomas Evans now. Evans the highest in the overall classification in the group, calling up his team car there to find out what's happening behind, or what should he do. Team manager comes up then, has a few words with him, tells him probably that if this break stays away and if they can get a good gap, then there's a good likelihood that he could take the yellow jersey, and that's all he needs. That's all the motivation that Evans needed to get stuck in there and keep going. Another rider now well up in the overall classification, Eamon Byrne of the Ireland team, getting his instructions from Tony Allen, his team manager, telling him to get stuck in there and ride. And into the finish in Charleville, and it was Mark Gator of Waterford first over the line in a very close sprint from Stephen Callally of Wales and Alan Clark of the Mid-Eastern team. But Gator was later penalised because he took both hands off the bars just as he crossed the line, and that is an infringement of the rules, and he was penalised for it and put down into last place in the group. The rest of the bunch coming in spread over several minutes from this very, very fast stage. Yellow jersey there going through safely in the bunch. The rider finishing there on a strange bike, on a mountain bike. Obviously a crash in the last mile or two. Another rider here now coming in there, likewise suffering the effects of a crash.
And number 161, and that's Graham Hurley from the Dublin Wheelers club, and that's Stephen Roach's club. Was Graham determined
but the race was to get herself a new race leader, Thomas Evans of the Ulster Cycling Federation team. And the race commissaires had a very busy day, because not alone did they penalise Gator for taking his hands off the bars, but they also penalised two of the Irish team, Michael Creedon and Brian Cullen, for dangerous riding, or riding liable to cause damage to other riders.
If you refuse to race, today's prize money will be halved. The overall prize money will be halved.
So some very strong words there from the Chief Commissaire Ben McKenna, and it certainly had its desired effect, because the riders started in very aggressive style, leaving Charleville. The conditions on this day were the worst of the 8 days racing, with a lot of very damp and very dreary conditions and plenty of minor crashes and minor spills in the bunch, but the riders been very, very careful on these greasy roads. Early on, the race leader was in trouble, had to get some oil on the chain. Common occurrence on a wet, damp day like this. More mechanical moves now for the Irish team here as well. And here, one of the many spills we've had on the day. But thankfully, nobody seriously injured. A lot of bikes damaged, and they soon get sorted out, and riders on their way again. Estonian riders there in the red jerseys riding very well at the front of the group. Carvalli and Ermel in particular. And again, this day Ermel was to prove his strength and his class once again, because he took off before the finish and came in on his own to win the stage. Just clear of the bunch, Michael Fitzgerald of Clonmel was second, and Mark Gader from Waterford was third. Thomas Evans, the race leader, finished safely in the bunch and retained his yellow jersey.
13.75.
So the photo finish being very important to try and distinguish the riders in this big bunch. And as we moved up to Dublin for the final stage, preparations now been made in Merrion Square. A little bit of an idea of the backup team that goes behind putting a big race such as this Credit Union Junior Tour of Ireland on the road. Joe McCormick there, the race director, and his team worked very, very hard all year round to get this race on its way. So the final stage, 140 odd riders, takes place over 1 hour and 5 laps around Merrion Square. A very, very fast circuit. Very good corners on it, no dangerous corners, so the riders can really race into the corners and race out of them. So it meant that the speed would be significant throughout the whole stage. So for the race leader Evans, he really had only one man to watch, and that was Janek Ermel, who was 22 seconds behind him. So once he kept within 22 seconds of Ermel, he could hold on to that race lead. But soon, halfway into the stage, John Ahern of Kerry goes clear, and Ermel, seeing a chance of possibly going into the lead, chased and caught Ahern. Now there was real chance now that something could happen, and Ermel could possibly take this race lead from Thomas Evans. But the bunch behind were very, very vigilant and were chasing very hard. But still, Ermel wasn't going to give up. A great performance, and he certainly has made his mark on the race here this week. But Evans at the front of the main group behind, chasing very hard. You can see them lined out in one long line, which shows that the speed is really up, and Ermel looking back, not getting the gap that he wanted to get. And Evans now showing a lot of real talent as well, and leaving the bunch and crossing over to his main danger man.
Yellow jersey on the outside on this side here.
So all together once again, yellow jersey watching his main danger man there, Ermel. But at the finish, it was the Estonian once again at the front of affairs with a great sprint, taking the stage, taking his third stage win of the tour. Daniel Morris of Manchester was second, and Michael Fitzgerald of Clonmel was third. But Thomas Evans significantly finished in the main bunch, and certainly this is another rider to look for in the future.